I used to think the worst thing in life is to end up all alone. It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone. Being alone and being lonely is not the same. Of course, it depends on personality type as well. Some people are really happy to stay alone for hours or days even, and they don't feel lonely. I'm one of them. And if loneliness kicks in, I just lift my bum and I go out, leave the house and meet people. For me, the saddest thing is when you are in a room full of people, they are your good friends and you feel lonely, or even a more sad thing when a person sitting next to you and you feel lonely in his or her company. This video I will go a little bit deeper. What does it mean being alone? What does it mean being lonely? And what to do with loneliness. There are periods in our life when we feel, yeah, it's time for be social and meeting people, and there are times, even months or years, when we feel, okay, I want to be alone. Some people consciously choose to be alone because this is the best tool to start to understand yourself, to know yourself more. A little bit later in the video, I will come back to this topic again to make it understandable why being alone can be crucial for a future healthy relationship, how it can help you to save years and years of frustrating relationships. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm coming from a so-called spiritual world. I don't take me wrong, I really don't like to use this word spiritual, but because I want to communicate somehow, it make it easier to understand what I'm talking about. And in this so-called spiritual world, people have been saying, I am alone now for a while because I want to heal myself. I'm not just not liking the word spiritual, I don't like when we talk about that we have to heal ourselves, because regarding my thinking and my belief, and as Pink already stated in one of her songs, we are not broken, just bent.
We're not broken, just bent, so we can learn to love again.
So I think when we've been born, how we were born, this someone is still inside of you. As Andrew Feldmar, a Hungarian-born psychologist who lives in Canada, he had an example, he explained it very well, that imagine this is you when you've been born. And this is your family, this is a society. And the growing up phase of our life is about, they try to shape us like this. And by you reaching the adult age, this is you. And basically from this point until we die, we try to bring ourselves back to who we really are. So this someone is within you, is inside of you. So basically no one and nothing to heal. Simply we just need to put all of this crap which is layered on the top of who we really are. And that's why I don't call it healing, I call it finding yourself underneath all of this big pile of stuff. And basically this is a lifetime process. So it's not like, no, okay, I found myself now. You will always find surprises. That's why when people says, okay, I want to be alone because I want to heal myself, it can be a little bit a trap situation. Though, as I mentioned, it had lots of benefits, and I will come back to those benefits very soon. But it can be a little bit like a trap situation, because some people think, for example, when I will heal myself and I will be okay with myself, then I go out and I try to find a partner. These things, we want to heal from it. These are caused by so-called traumas. And I'm not talking about the big three traumas that, for example, you went to the war and your best friend just died next to you. I'm talking about the small t traumas, which we all have. All human being has small t traumas, because we been raised by the parents who's been already traumatized, and there is a big chance that they didn't deal with what they had, and we just inherited their traumas. One. Second, maybe they didn't deal with us in a way what was our need, our necessity. Maybe your parents been working a lot and they didn't really have time to look after your emotional needs. They never asked how you feel, they never give you a hug, because they just didn't have time. And yes, that can be something traumatic. But as I'm talking about how a trauma was created, probably you can see that I'm talking about other people who's been around you, which means the trauma was created in a relational environment, which means it can be repaired in a relational environment. So being completely isolated and hoping that these traumas which been created with some people, you can solve them alone, is most of the time it won't happen. Yes, it's nice if you start to know yourself and you start to see clearly who you are, but you will need people around you to really see and to really test and to really understand where you are in your repairing journey. And because this so-called healing is a lifelong journey, we cannot separate ourselves from life. It's better if we live the life as long as we are doing the healing job. And of course, certain people can help in this journey, can help our repairing journey. That's why is it important to know yourself, because then you will choose the right people, the right inner circle for yourself. I started that for me personally, one of the saddest thing is when you are in a room full of people and you feel alone. And it reminds me a little bit that what is the better, to live in a big city or living in a little town, because people can think that in a little town you can just bury yourself and you don't have any connection possibilities, so you probably are very alone. Again, I think it depends on personality type, but I have to state that I was living in capitals for 25 years, in Budapest and in London, and honestly my loneliest experiences are coming from that time. And in this very moment, even I live in a very small town where I hardly speak the language, I feel lonely much less than I felt there. Yes, it's part of the truth that sometimes I feel lonely, exactly because of the language inabilities, because I have really little circle, I'm able to communicate very well, but still I have less lonely time than I had in the past. So again, back to knowing yourself. Why is it important? Because if you know that you need a smaller environment, you need a smaller space, because for you, for example, very important when you go through the street and people saying hello, how are you, good morning, is important for your emotional well-being, or it just bothers you and you want to be in a big city and you just want to get lost, then you have the opportunity to make the decision to choose what is the most nurturing for you and what is the best for you. In general and in overall, what is my experience? I lived in London with people who are still living in London, and since I left, we stay connected, and I see that they still feel stuck sometimes and they feel lonely sometimes, and we are having little discussions or chat with them. It seems it doesn't matter that you are living in a small town, you are living in a big city. Sometimes loneliness kicks in, but if you understand yourself, your needs, it's much easier to adjust what is good for you. What you can find more easily, though you can find in the big city as well, don't take me wrong, a community. And why community is important? Because I think lots of relationship fails because we put too much on each other's shoulder. We are expecting too much from the one person who is our partner. Back in time, people have been living in communities. One person fulfilled this need, that need, but now today we are waiting for all of these things from one person, which can ruin the relationship. Because, for example, if I don't like to play check, but my partner really wants to play check with me, at the end of the day, my partner can develop lots of anger and frustration against me that, it's not possible to play check with you. And they try to find another person is really good in check and they can play amazing parties, but maybe he will realize that the other person is not good in gardening, though he loves gardening. So it's not possible. I mean, it's possible, but it's much easier that you find a person, you are more or less happy with this person, and if this person doesn't like to play check, just go to the check club and play check with people who love it. Yes, and after you go home and you can share that, can you imagine what an amazing party we had today. Since I live in this little place and I have community around me, because in the big city I didn't have the community around me, I feel less lonely and less alone than I was lucky enough to feel in a big city in London back in time. You can argue with me that yes, but if you are alone, you will miss the physical touch. And yes, you are completely right. And I understand that this is a really basic, really instinctive need of us, that we get touched. I know people who get this touch from little pets, animals, that lots of people have cats and dogs. So there is one solution. Other solution can be the community, that you go around and you just give hug to everyone, and by the time you went through the town or you met with your friends, you just collected all of the needs of hug for the day. That's the other solution. Lots of people choose the solution that they have a partner just to have the physical contact, but the relationship overall is not beneficial for them. I've been in this situation, and I have to say that yes, what that kind of relationship, this little segment of a relationship that we have the physical touch and is really good and is really assuring, but in the meantime, because other needs didn't get fulfilled, emotionally and mentally, this relationship can drain you a lot. We need to see what is the price to gaining this physical touch from one romantic partner. Because if the price is too big, I'm not sure that is worth it. And if you get something which at the end of the day ruins your life and just take your power away, I don't know how you are, but personally, I think life is too short to be in a not fulfilling relationship. And if we are already talking about relationship, the hardest thing can be when a relationship ends and you find yourself alone, find yourself lonely many times. I've been in this situation as well, and for a while I felt, oh my god, I miss my ex-partner so much. Until, and it's really interesting, I get to the point that I realized that I'm not really missing the person itself, but I'm missing someone who is looking after me or potentially looking after me. And I started to create a tool to myself from this feeling, this I miss this person. And I started to use this feeling as an indicator how I connected to myself. Because I realized two things. When I started to miss the person, then first realization, I'm not missing the person, I'm missing someone who is looking after me. Why I need someone who is looking after me from outside? Because from inside, I'm not looking after myself. I am type of the person, and I know lots of people like this, had a tendency to overdo, had a tendency to overwork or overgive. If you are the person who has something in your cup, and you just give and give and give, and at one point you just realize, wow, my cup is empty. And then the feeling kicks in that, oh, I miss someone. No, you just missed looking after yourself. I heard an interview once, and the lady stated that I have my cup. I fill up my cup. I'm not feeding, I'm not giving to anyone from my cup. Even my cup is full. What I give to other people, cup overflows, and what comes get collected in the saucer, that I share with others, because the rest is needed for me. And if you fulfill your needs, if you're looking after yourself, you will realize that actually you don't need so much someone from the outside. And the other way how I use it as a tool, that oh, I really miss this person. I don't know how you are, I have a really strong inner critical voice. And when this voice kicks in and start to criticize me, I really need someone again from outside who tells, no, Jojo, this voice is not right. This is lying. This is not true. You are amazing. You are fantastic. You are doing well. Instead, realizing that this critical voice is talking is not my voice, and just having a discussion with this voice. Okay, I know you are here. I know you are here with a reason, because maybe in the past you saved me from something or someone bad. But thank you very much. I don't need this critical voice anymore in my head. I'm super happy if you go a little bit backward, and I can live my life without this negative shade above my head. So what I do when the critical voice kicks in, or when I'm overworking, or whenever I feel that I need someone, I miss someone, I just stop. I realize that this is happening, and I remind yourself, Yes, don't forget, this is not a truth feeling, this is not a real feeling, this is just a tool. This is just a tool that is time to ask yourself, what do you need? What can I do for you? And then, whatever is the answer, I do it. Since I was doing some inner child work, maybe in a latest video I will talking about the inner child work as well. Since then, this question comes into my mind much quicker because I visualize not just myself as I am right now, but I'm visualizing I'm connected with this little me inside of me, and it's much easy to want to look after her and much easy to ask the questions from her that what do you need, what can I do for you. So the realization basically that I have to look after myself and I have to love myself without question. Lots of men and women lives alone these days. And though they are searching each other's, they are craving each other's company, you can find lots of memes and lots of funny videos in the internet all around, which kind of gives the sign or the feeling that men and women, they are in war with each other. Why is it happening? Because, and now I'm coming back to where I started my video, because we don't know ourselves very well. We don't know our needs. That's why being alone for a while and living the I am living alone phase in your life, you need to live it fully and not try to escape, but go deep down and really start to connect with yourself. Because this is the time when you start to realize what are your needs. What is your non-negotiables in relationships? I remember some of my friends, I'm talking about women right now, they went into a relationship with some guys, and after 3 or 4 months or half year, they just came out from the relationship and they've been crying their heart out that, oh, this guy is just horrible, they're drinking so much. And I said, he was drinking half a year ago as well. Oh, it wasn't a problem, and now it's a problem. Why you blame him? You need to understand what you can accept in a relationship and what you cannot accept in a relationship. And even the other person is the sweetest, and you are falling in love with until the top of your head. If you know that all of this hormonal Hollywood story ends one day, and you will be there with the person without the rose-tinted glasses, and you know that you are not able to live with this and this and this and these things, then it's better at the really beginning to say, until you are not super involved, you're not having children together, you're not buying things together, just say, you know what, we had an amazing and great time, but I know it won't work. And don't waste each other's time. Try to find the person who can accept you as you are, and I try to find a person who can accept me as I am, instead of we try to shape each other and push and pull each other into different kind of forms. We are not cut out. So again, just to repeat the important part, yes, the alone time is important, because this is the time when you have the chance to know yourself more, to understand yourself more. And that's how your relationship can benefit from it, your future relationship, because you won't waste other people's time and your time trying to fit yourself in or the other person into shapes and forms which is not for you. I realized as well, and I see that lots of people who are living alone doing this, that we are keeping the focus outside. We are waiting for someone or something to come outside to make us happy, to make us fulfilled, which means we are basically connecting and concentrating on the void, on the need, on the part of our life which we feel empty. Through this, I put myself into a victim position. I start to feel helpless, I start to feel lost, and even otherwise I have an amazing, fulfilling life. I have a good job, I have a good hobby, I have good community, I'm living in the right place, everything is okay around me. Just because I'm concentrating on the void, you just disappear in the waiting and hoping, and you make yourself blind for what do you really have in this life. And I'm not saying there is anything wrong to keep your focus outside and try to connect with other people. Yes, connecting with other people is amazing, is important, it makes the life a more exciting place to live. But first, we need to connect with ourselves. If you have a really strong center, like when ballerinas, they are dancing, they can be in balanced postures because their center is engaged. If you find this inner engagement, your inner center, I always show this because I really visualize it like I have my spine. I have my strong spine and all of my limbs and arms and everything, they just attach to this. And if my spine is strong, then I can dance, then I can connect with other people. And this so-called strong spine, this inner center, could be found through meditation. Again, this is really a personal opinion. That's the only way how I can come back to myself. And that's the only way when I always calm myself and I realize actually my life is so freaking good. Even I live alone, and if I start to feel lonely, I find this inner center and go and meet people. And yeah, I know lots of people now think, oh my God, meditation, everyone just come with this, but I just cannot sit even a minute just to watching my breath or just do nothing because I have lots of thoughts in my mind. I have to admit, I created a meditation from lots of different techniques. I just bring it together, what I call the gamer's meditation, because it's really like a video game. And I'm not just coming out from the meditation at the end like, okay, I'm completely centered, I'm happy to connect with others, or I'm happy to stay alone. But during the meditation, I really like watching a film. I'm getting really entertained. So by any chance you have this little bit overwhelming mind or overworking mind, then feel free to just leave a comment underneath the video, and if more people will be interested, I can share what is the technique, or even I can create a video when I'm not just talking about the meditation, not just sharing a technique, but I can create a LED meditation and you can try it out yourself as well. So feel free to leave me a comment, let me know you're interested or not. So again, just a really quick recap. Being alone and being lonely is not the same. If you are in the phase in your life when you are alone, try to not go into the trap that you just connect with the void and oh my God, I feel so lonely. But use this time for your own benefit and just connect with yourself. Just start to love yourself. Just do things what you really enjoy. Figure out what time is the best for you to wake up. Figure out, do you love to cook or you just cook because the other person is around? Figure out that you love it, everything is super clean around you, or you like if something is a little bit messy. When you are living alone, you have lots of different opportunities to see the real you, to come back from this to this. And after, you won't try to connect another person like this and having a crappy relationship, but you will find people you can connect with a little bit more ease. If you found this video useful and you would like to help my work to create more videos in the future, like it, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Adios.